This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Well, I'm still going to clap because I don't know how to start.
Do like
3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode.
Very special.
Of Saturday Morning Mysteries. Those listening to the podcast, maybe we sound a little different. My voice is clearly still fucked up.
Yeah. If you've been listening for the past few weeks. Also, we haven't even introduced ourselves.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Well, this is a very special episode of People on the Podcast. It's because we're in the same place right now.
Yes,
People watching can clearly see that we're on one screen. We're sitting on Alexis's couch. One of the hosts.
Hello. I am Alexis.
I'm Grace.
My visitor this weekend.
Yes, we are in the DC area, the DMV area right now.
Not the local Department of Motor Vehicles.
This is what your local DMV looks like. They let us record here.
Yeah, it's cool. They're filling out paperwork just behind you.
We're actually, people are waiting in line for us to get done. So
sorry guys, it's gonna take another ticket.
It's gonna be a while. That's why you're the DMV line. It takes so long.
But no, we are in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Grace is out here visiting, doing some awesome stuff, aka crashing on my couch for a couple of days.
Well, this is my bed.
Get it nice and warm for her. So we figured while Grace is in town, what better thing to do than do a nice recording and get some more episodes up for our lovely, beautiful, wonderful podcast. So thank you all for tuning in, and we hope that you enjoy this format. We wish we could say that it would be forever, but probably just a couple of episodes.
2 episodes.
2 episodes. So enjoy it while it lasts.
And if you want it to happen more, just Venmo us money so we can buy flight tickets, I guess.
If you guys like the format here, because we're kind of cool with it, Venmo us money. Yeah. Patreon or something. Maybe we'll set it up. Just send us your money and your social security numbers. And then we'll be able to all of that information, and then we can easily travel to literal
different coasts
to make this happen more often.
Different corners of the country. Send us your Delta miles. Can you transfer those? I don't know, maybe.
All that stuff, probably. I mean, you just need to plug the number in when you book the flight.
Oh, yeah.
So send us those too.
Send that to us. Great. Well, our episode today, we're still on Rescue Rangers. And as you can tell, again, for those watching, Alexis has her laptop out. So she will be telling the story for today's episode.
Yes, I will be. And today is a doozy. Okay. Let me tell you, I feel like I say that before way too many episodes.
Especially with Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, I think I said it a few times with Darkwing Duck as well. But particularly with Rescue Rangers, we're talking about these episodes what the hell? How do we write for this? So buckle in, dear audience, because today for the Rescue Rangers episode, we're going to take to the skies. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're taking to the skies.
Okay.
And actually, interestingly enough, Grace, this ties directly into a conversation that we were just having over our light breakfast, relating somewhat to World War II.
A casual breakfast when we're together.
Casual breakfast.
Like how learned we are.
Exactly. Speaking of World War II and whatnot, and for a nice breakfast of bacon and toast.
Yes, and coffee.
Super, super basic shit. We're not that impressive, y'all. But no, so how is this related to World War II? Well, the episode that I will be recapping today is called The Battle of the Bulge.
So they didn't even make up a new name.
Yeah,
that's just the Battle of the Bulge.
It's the Battle of the Bulge.
Okay.
And this is season 1, episode 21 of Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. If you're watching on Disney Plus, I don't know what it is in the broadcast history, as we've discussed in the past. They do weird things, but it came out October 9th, 1989. And so real quick, I'm going to have to again, this is a half research podcast.
Always.
What up? If you've been listening to us for the past couple of weeks, we are very upfront in acknowledging that we are not experts in most things in life, especially the stuff that happens to be involved in these random animated show episodes. So real quick, I'm just going to do the first paragraph Wikipedia.
Good. Okay. This is my type of research.
Of what the Battle of the Bulge is, because it kind of has to do with this episode, but it really actually doesn't. But this is just my chance to be nerdy and be like, oh yeah, this thing happened.
I know about it.
Yes. I will also say I listened to a video on YouTube, like recapping it too, that you'll laugh at this. I'm pretty sure it was like the Imperial War Museum. I was like, well, this sounds like a very unbiased source on war history.
Okay.
Let me watch. But yeah, so yeah, like little
propaganda
again,
on
I have
YouTube.
Research. Yeah, it was straight up war propaganda.
Good.
So anyway, though, the Battle of the Bulge, it was also known as the Ardennes Offensive, and it was like arguably one of the most important battles of World War II, from what I've read, because it was like the last major attempt by the Axis powers, aka the evil powers, to like actually make a move against the Allied forces, and so it was one of the Allied forces' biggest moves against them, and the Axis powers had to retreat pretty much every battle after.
Oh, okay.
So it started as a German offensive campaign on the Western Front during World War II in a region, like a very wooded and forested region between Belgium and Luxembourg. And again, I'm not a war historian or any sort of historian. We
didn't talk about this. I thought you were.
Only on Tuesdays. I know. If we recorded earlier, maybe. But essentially, one of the major factors playing a role in the Allied forces' success in that battle was the fact that the German air defenses were weakened. They weren't able to do a lot of aerial training and aerial reconnaissance because I think there was like a lot of storms or something around that time or something like that. So the Allied powers were like, well, fuck it, we'll go into the storm. So they actually had a lot of aerial strikes against the Germans. Okay. A lot of other cool stuff happened. Again, we're not a war. We are not now, nor will we ever be a war podcast.
A war podcast. Can you imagine?
No. It would just be us yelling angrily the whole time.
True.
If anything, would be an anti-war. But anyway.
It would be us just angrily screaming the Wikipedia page as we read it aloud.
Like holding my laptop, just angrily at the camera.
Yelling at it. Good.
No, so yeah, we're not a war podcast. We're not here to talk about war. The main point of me talking about this is to say that this is the battle that the episode is named after, and that aerial forces played a large role in the Allied victory.
Can I ask a quick question on it?
I don't know.
Do you have the Wikipedia page open?
Let me hit Control Find so I can search.
What country did the battle happen
So it was right in between Belgium and Luxembourg. It was launched through the densely forested Ardennes region. So I'm not sure if that is like its own independent region or if it's part of Belgium and Luxembourg.
Okay, that's fine. We'll just say it's right on the border of those two.
Literally everything I'm pulling up on Wikipedia right now, it says location, Belgium, Luxembourg. France, Germany.
You know what? I wonder if it's one of those, like, it was on like the border of all this, and then post World War II, how things got shifted a little bit.
True.
One of those.
Probskis.
Yeah.
Great. But it was like in that general like Four Corners area. It would sound
cool.
So
all right.
If you're writing any papers on the Battle of the Bulge,
you're welcome.
There you go.
Cite your sources.
You'll get at least a D- if you use this podcast.
Use thesaurus.com for some big words.
Yes.
And you'll get maybe a D-.
Just don't forget to put your name on it because that's like a few instant points, I think.
Yeah. Bam.
All right. So that is all to say that this episode of Rescue Rangers thankfully does not really have to do with war whatsoever. It does not have to do with World War II in particular.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Watching this episode, I was like, why the fuck did they name it that?
Because it was just in the air and they were like...
Yeah, we'll see. They do take to the skies. And so I guess their theory was like, oh yeah, we learned about the Battle of the Bulge in high school. I remember airplanes involved. Let's call the episode that.
Okay.
So.
Are they in Europe in this episode?
No. They're in their normal city. I guess what is it? New York. That's what we presume. Yeah. No.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to throw them a bone there.
They're not in Europe. It has nothing to do with Germany, France, war, anything. Okay. Literally, there's helicopters and flying animals that we will get to in a moment.
Okay.
And that's all we got.
Great.
Okay. And actually, I was going to jump in, but I forgot. I do also have to give a disclaimer about this episode. So. After I was about 75% of the way through, like getting everything together for it, I decided to Google the episode to just like read who some of the voices were and stuff like that. And I then learned that this episode actually was banned from TV for a little bit.
What?
Because it's a little offensive.
Oh.
In classic like 80s cartoon fashion.
That could be anything. I'm like, you're in the skies.
Right.
They could be offending everyone.
It's the way they characterize a few of our guest appearances in today's episode. And I'll get on to it. We might have some interesting social conversations coming into play here.
So fascinated.
Discuss the ramifications of this.
Okay.
But
that's a good disclaimer.
Yeah, so just to know, it is still on Disney Plus, so it wasn't like fully canceled or banned, but they had to like
do they have
take it off the
message
air
at the start of the episode?
I can't remember. I don't think they do. I remember an episode of Darkwing Duck had that.
Yes, yeah. Disney,
wild.
For those who don't know, Disney Plus will have messages now on particularly offensive episodes that say like, hey, guess what? We realize this episode's fucked up. Sorry, you're warned.
Yeah. I forget if this one had it. It might have.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely would have been, it probably would have made the cut for like that standard.
Got it.
If they took it off of TV.
Yes. That's why I had to ask.
So yeah, bear with me. I'm gonna try to not laugh through the offensive parts. But laughter is our coping mechanism. Truly. So, dear audience and Grace,
I'm part of the audience.
You are. I know. I'm like, do I look at you?
I don't know where to look. I've been thinking that this whole time.
Yeah, because also it's like, I mean, if you're listening on the podcast and us looking at the camera
doesn't matter.
But if you're watching on YouTube, hey, what's up? We're trying to engage with you as well.
Yeah, so, but it's also weird to be looking at her. And she's right next to me. I don't know.
Is this what people on TV have to deal with?
I don't know. Well, it's like been on TV interviews, you're supposed you don't look at the other person, you look at like here or
anyway,
whatever.
Well, what we should do next time is just set up multiple cameras to make it even more complicated.
Oh my god, I would just curl the little ball.
So, anyways, all right, our story today, it begins with an anxious gaggle of reporters who are crowded on the roof of a high-rise in the city. Again, we presume New York City.
Are these humans?
Human reporters, yes. And so the group, they're like frantically snapping all these photos and, you know, shouting questions to the local police chief, Chief Marley. And so as they're, you know, on this high-rise rooftop, by the way, a helicopter flies overhead. And it begins to like descend over the skyscraper. And so you got like wind everywhere, all their shit's blowing around. And the helicopter, it starts to lower down a like this giant safe. And like a security detail is like attached to it or whatever.
Okay.
And
cool.
Yeah, so it seems like it should be this very high security, very secure situation.
Yeah.
With the police chief being there too, like flagging them down. But meanwhile, all of these reporters are also like public access, whatever. And it's not only reporters who are there, it's also a very rich woman named Lady Richmore. Of course. What else would her be?
Yes.
She's more rich than any of us.
And she changed her name to let you know that she's more rich than you.
Yeah. Imagine if that actually was like her birth name. Or like her parents changed their name to that to let them know, like, we are magnates. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
And so you're probably wondering, well, what the fuck is all the commotion about all of these reporters? Yes. Why are they on this high rise with the police chief and this rich ass lady and this armored detail carrying or dropping this safe? Well, as it turns out, there have been a number of jewel thieves or jewel heists, I should say.
Love it.
Coming back to jewelry heists. There's been a lot of those happening in the city. And so the local police force has had to take like a lot of actions to try to, of course, help the rich people and the rich people only transport their jewels across town.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Lady Richmore is so rich that she paid for the fucking, actually,
helicopter.
Let's be real, the taxpayers fucking paid for this shit. It is an armored helicopter. They purchased. Actually, taxpayers maybe did not pay for it because the government loves just giving states and localities tanks,
armored vehicles,
military equipment. Yep. Another podcast.
Not a war podcast. I mean, war? That's not war.
No,
what? No.
Anyway, so these reporters, they're like very anxious to see if this method is going to work because they're like, okay, all of these robberies have been happening. The richest among us, that's what gets the reporters.
Yep.
That's what gets reporters' attention. Yep. Like the richest among us are having all of their jewels heisted.
No.
What are we going to do? And so they're pressing Chief Marley, asking him questions like, are you sure this armored helicopter is really going to work? I mean, we don't know. You kind of was like falling on your ass in the past. What's going to happen? But Marley's like, oh, absolutely. Don't worry. Like rich, wealthy citizens trying to ensure his donors, if he were a straight up politician, that is, trying to ensure them like rich, wealthy citizens like Miss Lady Richmore here. They can, transport their jewels in complete safety.
Oh my God.
Unless, of course, our criminals grow wings.
Good one, Chief Marley. Good one.
Remember what the name of this episode's called?
Chief Marley, you dog, you.
And the reporters, everyone starts laughing too. Like,
not that good of a joke.
It's so true. It really wasn't actually, but they're sucking up. He's a police.
Same politician.
And Lady fucking Richmore.
Yep.
So, which I feel like that, the more I say it, that would kind of be like a cool like a stage name, like for a female rapper.
Yes. Oh my God,
Richmore.
Lady Richmore. Copyright it. Yeah. It's our copyright trademark.
That's mine.
Can't take it.
It's on this date, 6/25/22. We've got
the
timestamp. Anyway.
Bam.
So they go to open up the safe and kind of like show off how this taxpayer funded investment, militarized investment will pay off. And when they open the safe, actually, they see that all of the jewels have been removed.
Of course.
But it's not an empty safe.
Oh.
There's just literally a heap of garbage and trash.
Damn.
But like food waste. So apple cores, banana peels.
Okay.
It looks like just like mushed up, previously eaten like food.
Gross.
Pretty disgusting.
Gross. Okay.
Disgusting and wasteful.
Yeah.
Like compost that dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, so Lady Richmore, when Chief Marley opens the door,
that's pretty awkward.
Super awkward because he also is just like, of course, this taxpayer-funded helicopter is gonna work. Lady Richmore just like straight up like screams and faints, like passes out, like lands in Chief Marley's arms, and they like fall into the pile of trash.
As if all of those jewels are insured.
Yeah,
and she's gonna get the payout.
She's gonna get paid more. She's
gonna be even more rich.
Lady more rich. Lady richer more.
Richer.
God, her name. Anyway, so naturally this embarrassing moment is like media fodder. So all the cameras move in, they're snapping pictures in Chief Marley's face, putting microphones in his face and everything. And he's just like, clearly, he's equally pissed off and embarrassed.
Yes.
And so the scene then takes us to, I guess, the local NYPD precinct station, whatever. And we see a Detective Spinelli on the phone, yelling over the phone, talking to Chief Marley, actually. And Chief Marley, he's giving him the rundown on everything that's just happened. And you hear Spinelli just repeating it back to him, like very confused on what he's being asked to look into. Like, the pilots didn't see anything. They swear the jewels were there before. Oh my God, what the fuck? And he's like angry. It's like, dude, your anger is not going to help.
Yeah.
Like, it's not your fault. He's saying it like his team failed or something. Where it's like, no, like, no one knows what the fuck is happening.
Right. That's what you need to figure out.
That's what you need to figure out.
That's the goal here.
Exactly. And so a couple of his officers, they're like already on the case with him. They're bringing by evidence and stuff from the crime scene, AKA they just dump a box of trash on his desk, and he's like filing through it. Like,
poor guy.
Yeah, right. But also hilarious that like that's their evidence. It's like,
figure it out.
Brought some more evidence, Chief.
Yeah.
Hope you didn't need anything on
Yeah,
that
we didn't need those papers or anything on
disgusting. And so I've gotten a few minutes through this episode, and you're probably like, where the fuck do the rescue rangers?
Yeah, that's why I was asking if they were humans.
Yeah,
no. You were like helicopter. I was like, I guess
not. So the rescue rangers, and this is my theory. I know we've discussed this in the past, but this is my theory on how they probably come across a lot of their detective assignments.
Yes.
The rescue rangers happen to be actually chilling at this police station. They're like perched up on top of a ceiling.
Oh my God, just
listening in and actually being little shits and like stealing food from the detective's like desk and stuff.
Oh my God.
Because, stereotypical detective or cop always eating donuts and like coffee.
That's pretty funny.
So they have like a fishing line or something.
Oh my God, they're stealing it?
Yeah, and the detectives are all like, what's happening to my food?
So
like,
they're actively being thieves
in
the police
pretty
department.
Fucking bold. Pretty bold if you ask me.
I kind of love it. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
So they're like halfway doing that. That's mostly Monty and Dale who are stealing the food. Yeah. And then meanwhile, Chip and Gadget and Zipper are like listening in
taking
on
notes.
Detective Spinelli. Yeah. And so Gadget is very interested in what the detective is saying down there on that phone call. She's like leaning more into the logical and reasonable side of the rescue rangers, like questioning how thieves are stealing jewels from midair. Like how is this happening? This sounds like something we might need to look into. Chip, on the other hand, leaning into his emotional like tendencies. He's jealous, wondering why the rescue rangers never get cases like this.
Of course. He always is like, I hope there's bigger crime out there, but we're missing it.
But come on, we need to be assigned to it.
Oh my God.
And so, as I said, Monty and Dale, and actually I guess Zipper, he was with Monty and Dale too. They're, about to eat this fresh donut that they just stole off of the detective's desk, LOL. And so anyways, back down on the that's what the rescue rangers are
up to this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Doing. So then back down on the ground with the detectives, they're, going through all of the information that they have. And very funnily, the first question that Spinelli really throws out there is, what kind of deranged and criminally insane individual would stop to snack on fresh fruits in the middle of a jewel heist? That's what he's wondering. Who eats fruit in the middle of a heist?
You need the energy.
Yeah. And that's kind of what the officer says back to him, a hungry one.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. He obviously was so hungry that he had time to stop.
He need that little sugar rush.
Yeah.
Or we're just that bad at our jobs as cops that he could take the time to peel the banana, eat the apple.
Little column A, little column B.
That makes sense.
But whatever the explanation is, that one did not make Spinelli happy. So he berates them and tells them to get the fuck out of his office and get back on the case and working.
Yeah, makes sense.
But all of this food talk, it's getting the detective hungry. And so as his officers are leaving, he actually he opens his desk drawer and reaches in for a sandwich. Yes, that was just loosely sitting.
That's disgusting.
Just a loose sandwich.
I hate that.
I don't even think it was on a plate. It's and it's not like a desk at home or maybe you keep your kitchen drawers or something a little clean. Yeah. No, this is his police office desk.
Yeah, there's probably
gross as fuck.
I was gonna say there's probably blood in there somehow and shit. And he's just
fucking evidence, from a drug bust. There's cocaine all over his sandwich.
Maybe that's why he puts it there.
He's actually rubbing it even.
Sprinkles it on. He's got a little salt shaker in there, just Coke.
He's jittering after. It gets actually even grosser because as he's getting this desk out, he then grabs a piece of cheese out of his desk too. Not in a wrapper, just loose piece of cheese.
That's my hell.
That's fucking disgusting.
I hate this
I literally wrote yummy in parentheses so I could say it so disgusting.
I don't like this.
And so he puts that loose piece of cheese on top of that bad boy.
He should get fired.
Yes.
He did it.
But
he's the criminal. Arrest him. Arrest that man.
This dude is a serial killer.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
Or Detective Spinelli.
look into them. Yeah.
But as he like has the sandwich open, and the reason why I'm explaining this sandwich in detail so much, he's got it open and he's putting the cheese on, and he looks away to like get some condiments or whatever. No.
Oh.
So Monty, you know how we talked, I think in your first episode, how Dale gets his like sugar rushes?
Yes. Yeah.
Monty also gets these ridiculous, like drug addict level, crack addict status type of reactions whenever he smells or scents cheese in particular. And so as soon as the officer pulls this piece of cheese out of his desk,
disgusting.
Ew. Monty, disgusting even more, is like, oh my God, like his eyes start spinning,
like
his
out.
hair like frizzes.
Oh my God.
And he jumped down from the ceiling fan literally on the sandwich. And as the detective is looking away, he like puts the bun back on top, or the piece of bread back on. So he now has this is how disgusting this is. Fucking gross. First off, eating a sandwich that was just loosely stored in your dirty desk, and then putting a piece of loose cheese on it that I presume was also freely hanging out in said desk.
Ew, free cheese.
And then finding a rat, or maybe a mouse. I think
a New York City rodent.
Yes. On that sandwich.
I don't want that sandwich.
No.
It's a bad sandwich.
This freaks the detective out naturally as he goes to take a bite of it.
Yes, as it should.
Tail in his face. And so then like all of the officers and the detectives start chasing Monty around the precinct, trying to like shoo him out of there.
Oh, geez.
And meanwhile, the rest of the rescue rangers are up on the van like, okay, we should probably like sneak on out of here.
Yeah, we should probably leave.
So
good luck, Monty.
Yeah, somehow Monty gets out too. I don't remember if they like pull him back up and then all leave together, but somehow they all get out safely.
This is a large meta statement on like addiction.
Yeah. Did they pull him back up from underwater?
Yeah, exactly. And like the lengths you'll go to like feed your addiction.
Yes.
Oh man, wow. Rescue Rangers getting deep.
Yeah, and actually so deep that literally back at the Ranger hideout, they have an intervention. The next scene, they stage an intervention for Monty.
Oh my God.
Because when they get back, the first thing Monty does, he's rifling through their fridge,
to try
eating
and find
everything, just like
we're going on a bender.
A fucking bender. This dude, just any food and snacks they have, he's shoving it into his face.
Oh no.
And Chip is pissed because remember, they were like trying to listen in on that.
Where they were like, had an active crime
case that we were thinking of looking into. No. Monty, you almost got us caught, by the way, and like killed. We know those cops would have fucking killed us.
Yeah, they were about to shoot you.
Anyway.
For those listening on the podcast,
can't see. We're just looking very seriously into the camera. And so Chip, he's pissed. He's saying that Monty needs to quit all of his snacking. And Dale chimes in, noting that they all could have been caught back at the station because all Monty could do was just like exercise his food addiction, all of his cravings. So Monty's like, you guys are exaggerating. I'm in the best shape of my life.
I don't have an addiction. You do.
You do. I'm fine. Which also, though, the fact that he says he's in the best shape of his life is funny because no one was saying that. They were just saying that, like, dude, there's a time and a place to be eating.
Yeah.
It's probably not like good to steal food from a detective while we're already stealing shit from them.
Yeah.
And we're like staking out their agency.
Yeah. It's like
hear in on crime.
Yeah. Like your addiction is truly getting us into violent scenarios with literally surrounded by an armory, basically.
Exactly, with law enforcement.
Yes.
So no, thank you. They're supposed to be friends with them. So they can like collaborate on
AKA take their cases.
Exactly. Yes. Collaborate, AKA steal. And so Monty, he's saying, I'm in great shape. Like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. But as he's explaining this, he breaks 2 of their fucking chairs. I don't want to get into fat shaming in this episode, and we're not going to actually, but it's just very funny that he's like, I'm doing great, mate.
Right.
The chair explodes underneath him, and then he like gets another one and he's like testing it. It like starts creaking and he's like, oh, And then it just explodes again. Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Anyway, and then at that same time, Zipper is like adding into like poking his gut. Like, I don't know,
damn,
Monty.
Zipper. Savage.
And so Monty's like, you know what? You're right. If I'm going to be a rescue ranger, I got to like shape up. I got to be stricter with my diet, get on an exercise regimen. And it's funny because at first, like Dale is excited, like, oh, sweet. So Monty's going to start eating like healthy shit. Now all the sweets will be for me.
Yeah. He's like, yes.
But Monty is like,
no addictions here.
Yeah, exactly. Monty's like, no, we got to cleanse this shit. It can't be around me at all.
The Rescue Rangers cleanse. Yes. The latest trend.
And that is the B plot of today's episode. Y'all, that the Rescue Rangers are meanwhile cleansing, doing an exercise regimen.
Juice cleanse.
He ropes the entire gang into doing
all of
these exercises, cooking this healthy, disgusting, what was it? Wheat germ root or like worm root, parsley sprigs.
All just bad.
And then also though, meanwhile, like as you see like montages of them exercising in the ranger station, you see like news stories playing about these safes.
So they just forgot about the case?
They kind of did. Like they're still tuned into the news, but like reporters are like, safes are still being burglarized that are like robbed out there, by the way. Rich people's jewels are still being stolen, by the way. And you just see them like jump roping and like boxing each other and shit. But,
we'll get to it eventually.
We'll get to it eventually. Yeah. The cops got it. It seemed like they had enough evidence in that pile of trash. To figure something out. But then one morning, probably like the next morning after they start this exercise regimen, Monty ropes the gang into doing the most awful of awful things, at least in my opinion. And I know many of our viewers and listeners are probably going to laugh at me and hate me for saying this. Okay. But he forces the gang to go for an early morning run.
That is your hell.
That is my hell.
That's all of your days.
Any day run, any time of day run is my
especially
hell.
Early morning.
Especially early morning. I will go for a run in the evening, maybe in the early afternoon. But I will not do anything that requires me to function as a human before 8 a.m. And when I say early, I mean early. It's like ass crack of dawn, like sun is coming up. And as they're on this run, it's so early that you've got like local food vendors actually dropping their deliveries out to restaurants and stuff like that early. Okay. And actually they run past a man doing this on their run. He's unloading like crates of fresh fruit into a grocery store, into some local shops. And Chip and Dale, like, look, they've been starved because Monty is feeding them fucking parsley sprigs.
Yeah, nothing.
Making them work out like 8 hours a day, do all this intense shit. So they see the fruit and they're like, oh my God, food, fuck yeah.
Yeah, finally.
So they just like
kind of
inch off the trail while like the other three keep going.
Amazing.
And they're like, okay. And they start like just munching on this amazing, wonderful, free
fresh
to them.
Fresh food. Free to them.
And so as they're munching away, depleting this honest fruit delivery man of his produce, the crate that they're in, it like starts to shake and you actually hear a sketchy voice saying like, this one will do. This crate here is good to go.
Also, real quick.
Yeah.
Your version of a sketchy voice
was just my voice.
It's just my voice right now. Like, it's just my voice.
I mean, it's sketchy.
You know what? Your mom, when I picked up the phone this morning, thought I was you. So
this is true.
So, ma'am.
I think probably because I talked to her last week or a couple weekends ago and
your voice was
like
gone.
Yours. Yeah. She's like, damn, are you still? Like,
what's wrong with you?
What happened to you? Anyway, so oh yeah, and I actually wanted to make my voice sound sketchier, but I was like, I don't know how many impressions I want to do today. there's a lot of characters in this episode.
Okay,
yeah, got it. Actually, well, whatever. We'll get some more impressions in the near future, maybe. So anyway, another not so trustworthy sounding voice says, well, I'll go ahead and I'll grab the bananas and you get that crate there. And so we zoom out and we see three henchmen, actually.
Okay.
a lizard with like a fedora of some sort.
Okay.
And this nice slick, I want to say he's like wearing like a red jacket or something. He's one. And then we've got a strung out cat. He like has like whiskers that are like all mangled and like scratches on his face, and I think like a cut out of his ear.
So just like a true like street cat, like super feral cat.
Yeah, feral cat wearing like a blue vest and like a beanie. And then I think like a mole or something who also has on a beanie. Actually, maybe he's the one wearing a red sweater too. I think it's him. Anyway, colors don't really matter, whatever. But yeah, so this is like this trio of henchmen who are carrying these crates of fruit, aka stealing these crates of fruit out of the back of the truck while the delivery man is delivering stuff inside. And while Chip and Dale are inside
in that crate,
of one of the crates,
and their friends don't know where
and
they
their
went.
friends don't know while their friends continue their morning run.
This is why you don't go for morning runs.
Exactly. This is why it's awful and evil. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not safe. Stay home. Stay in bed. Eat ice cream instead.
Never leave bed. Not safe outside of bed.
The hypochondria.
yeah. Hypochondriacs listening, and they're like, "See,
I told you.
I knew it.
Chip and Dale was right. They were right." So, as the feral strung out cat, they're like, carrying these crates out. And the cat, he's like asking if they've got enough. The lizard's like, of course, at least, for the fools that the boss is using.
Okay.
And they're like hauling the goods away. So we then see them haul these crates into this very large brick. It almost looks like a warehouse. Okay. But maybe also like with offices integrated into it.
Oh, so like basically a renovated warehouse, which is very trendy now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And apparently was in 1989.
Wow.
Like we work before they crash.
Before all that happened. Yeah.
But even funnier, and maybe actually if WeWork had something like this is why they went bankrupt. There's a giant golden cat statue on top of this warehouse.
Oh,
yeah.
Subtle.
Oh, very subtle.
Okay.
I wonder who's inside. And so, dear listeners and or viewers, if you are a fan of the Rescue Rangers and have watched many episodes, you probably know that one of their biggest foes, literally in stature and in like prominence, is a giant fat cat who goes by the name of Fat Cat.
Creative writers.
And if the giant fat golden cat statue on the top of the warehouse did not already give it away, we learned very quickly that this is the headquarters, the office / home of Fat Cat. And that these three henchmen, they are his little lackeys running out, apparently going to get fruit for him.
Okay.
Or at least on his behest for whatever reason. And so they bring this fruit up to his office, and Fat Cat, he's like very, very pleased. Remember, the Rescue Rangers, or at least Chip and Dale, are still in this crate.
I truly forgot.
Yeah,
yes, good reminder.
They're still in this crate.
Okay, being delivered to their arch nemesis.
Exactly. And so they're like, where the fuck are we going? And when they realize, they're like, oh my God, it's Fat Cat. Hide. So they're like hiding behind fruit and stuff.
Oh no. Okay.
But Fat Cat, he's very pleased with the henchman's haul. That is, until he realizes that there are no fucking pears in the crate. How dare they? Because he knows that his guests who are on their way over, who I will get to in a moment, that they love pears. And so he's, rifling through this crate of fruit while like Chip and Dale are like hiding behind different pieces and everything. Yeah.
I'm like now waiting because at the start you were like, there's some offensive things. So I'm assuming there's some stereotypes. So I immediately was like, what stereotype is related to people loving pears? Like, what group of humans is the show about to be racist about with pears? Like, okay, I'm very interested to see this connection.
It'll probably take a twist because, we'll see.
Okay. I've just been trying to be like, where's it going to take a dark turn?
It's Go on. The next few lines here. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to make it fun and lighthearted before I get to it.
I know where I'm like, tell me the fucked up stuff.
Here it comes.
Okay.
So before Fat Cat can discover the Rescue Rangers in the crate, because they're hiding in around and underneath different pieces of fruit as he's rifling through, the doorbell rings, which I didn't know, like, are there doorbells on offices or warehouses? I don't know, which is why I'm like, I don't know what this building is. He like lives there, but also like works there. It's just a secret like layer.
But like not secret at all because there's a golden statue.
Yeah, it's super, super recognizable and obvious. But what? And so at this point, the henchmen are like very terrified by Fat Cat's emotional swing, which excuse me, I will say is also like something very common with him, which like a cat, they're very temperamental.
Yes.
You know, at one point he was very like, oh, good job with this haul of fruit. You guys are so great, but there's no pears.
Flips the table.
Yeah, literally. I mean, not literally, but like energy, right? And so they're like, the henchmen are all huddled in the corner.
Yikes.
As a Fat Cat is like turning around to go get the door. And actually, before I get to this offensive part,
these henchmen need to unionize.
Tell me about it. They might want to unionize with his guests who are about to come in too. But I'm going to leave that on a cliffhanger for just a second.
Yes, truly.
Because I just remembered and like pseudo trying to imitate Fat Cat's voice. Just very nerdily, I'll say I don't know the voice actor's name, but he also voices Cat from Cat Dog.
Oh shit! Really?
I was watching
a cat actor.
I was like, where have I heard this voice before?
Oh my god!
It was like one line that he said that I was like, oh my god,
that's
Cat from Cat Dog, because it like he is also a cat.
Yeah,
and Cat and Cat Dog is always fucking angry.
Yeah.
So as soon as he started yelling at the henchmen, I was like, oh my god! Oh, now I feel like Dog is there too.
Wow, God, I fucking loved that show.
So good.
The show was formative in my life.
Yes.
Great
show. So anyway, to the offensive part of the episode now.
Yes, we've arrived. Welcome, inevitably.
So Fat Cat, he goes to answer the door, and in enters 3 Jamaican fruit bats.
Oh no. Oh no.
And Fat Cat described these 3 as his little winged messengers.
Oh no.
And I will just note, and it's funny because I wrote this before actually reading about the cancellation or whatever of this episode. So I'm glad that I did see it too. And I was like, okay, maybe it's good that they
canceled it.
They put a pause on this one. Because what I've written here is, I will just note, these bats have horrible accents.
Oh no.
Like one of them you could maybe argue is Jamaican sounding, but it's obviously, not only is it not a Jamaican voice actor, it's not even a black voice actor.
It's a white guy.
It's straight up a white guy. Oh,
being
talking like this.
Oh no.
One of the accents is like shitty Jamaican white guy accent. Another is like Russian or like Spanish or Romanian with like a hint of a like Caribbean twang or something.
It's probably the same white guy.
This is why I looked it up, because I was like, who the fuck? Like,
and was it?
It was 2 guys voicing 3 bats. So
that's how it makes it worse.
Yeah.
They were like,
we're not just going to use one white guy. Yeah. We're going to use 2
racist white guys.
I'm not going to call them racist, but like the accents were just so fucking
if that's what they thought, Jamaican
they were
people
like
sounded like,
trying to make it cartoony too, and
it just made it worse.
And also, though, it's like, you know that the writers and the directors were like egging them, like, no, do it a little further. Also,
you have to be villains.
Because exactly, like, one, you guys are the bad guys, but also we're trying to make you like the funny villains too, because Fat Cat is like the evil, serious for no reason, and then the henchmen are like the stupid villains, and then they're like the comedic relief.
Okay, can I briefly ask? Yeah. Obviously, the accents, horrible, offensive. How did they draw them?
Pretty bad. I mean, they look like animated bat. Oh no, bad actually. So
yeah, I was like, was there no racist drawing?
No, yeah, it was pretty bad. One of them, I think, at least one of them definitely had dreads.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if there's a picture on this page here. I don't think it's going to load quickly enough for me to. Yeah. Anyway, one of them.
We'll look.
And we obviously add pictures for the people watching.
Yes. Yeah. As I'm like questioning it, there's going to be one picture, right here.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so one of them definitely had dreads.
Okay.
They were all, I want to say, wearing like hats. One of them had like the beanies, like the red.
That's black. What I was like wondering of, like, when they just like.
Another one had like either a fedora or like Newsies, like the Scully type.
And you're like, what are you doing here?
I was like, okay. But then they had on like bright shirts, like with patterns and stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah. So the depictions of the bats is it's not great.
Yeah, just add it.
It's not great.
Added to the cancellation of this episode, rightfully. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
So let me also just say too, we're gonna do a little tangent here because I half researched fruit bats while watching because I was thinking like, I mean, I'm sure they're bats and they're bats like fucking everywhere.
Yes.
So, okay. Yes. I was like, I wonder why they had to be fruit bats. And also I wonder like why they had to be Jamaican. That was my biggest thing. I was like, are fruit bats really common in Jamaica?
Oh,
well, as it turns out, fruit bats are legitimately all over the world. Okay. In fact, fruit bats, it's actually a broad term that describes almost 200 types of a bat subspecies. Yeah, it's not like one particular type of bat. So
it's saying it's like 90% dog, wolf, like
kind of. It's like there's like
hound dog. Yeah, a shitload of
exactly.
That. Okay.
There's like 200 types of subspecies of bats who eat fruit, and they just call them fruit bats. It's not like a particular
and so it has nothing specifically to do with Jamaica.
Exactly. That's why I was like trying to like reason with them, like maybe they had to be. I know that it's not true, but like maybe I'm trying to help. What if like they had these two voice actors just kind of like on hand and they were like, what accent can you do? They were like, we can do a Jamaican accent. Listen. And then they try it and the writers are like,
that's the best you got.
Okay.
You're hired.
It sounds good to me.
Yikes. Okay. Interesting.
And so so essentially all this bat talk is to say that like they really didn't have to be so offensive here or like even have any particular stereotypes whatsoever. But they clearly wanted to use this to help develop the story because as we see, and it gets even more offensive than just having this offensive depiction. It's the way that they integrate these characters into the story and some of the lines that they use around them. Fat Cat, he's like clearly swindling these bats. He's literally paying them with fruit that his henchmen have stolen. So fruit that he's not even paying for. In return for committing crimes that are making Fat Cat richer than fuck. All right.
So again, we're having a meta or macro look at some exploitation.
Exactly. What did I say? We're gonna get into some social issues here.
Okay.
So very xenophobic lines that they like weave in as well. I'm actually going to skip over. I don't think I wrote them down because I was like, I feel bad enough even just addressing them. Yeah. So anyways, after that discussion of exploitation and essentially wage and slave labor.
Yeah, I was about to be like, so just slavery.
Slave labor. Yeah. So Fat Cat, he lets these bats in and they immediately notice this crate of fruit and they go wild. They like flock over to it like, oh, we haven't, no, don't do the accent. Don't do the accents. Like, oh no, we haven't had any fruit.
You just do the most monotone version of the voice. Oh no, there's no fruit here.
As like neutral and agnostic as possible. Like this is a computer. there is fruit here.
But there are no pears.
And so they're like super hungry and they start to fly over to this crate of fruit. But before they can like really go to town on it, Fat Cat, he like pulls it away from them and says, before you eat the fruit, I'm going to need you guys to do one teeny tiny little job for me.
Yep.
And so the fruit bats agree, noting that they will do anything for the fruit mon. lol, and ugh. I think that's the only line of theirs that I'm going to put in
my God.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't have even thrown that one in there.
I think it was good to throw in to get the full
to remind
extent.
you how cringy it is.
Yes, that was maybe the least worst line.
Yeah,
to show that everything else is even worse.
That was the most PC line that I could really throw in.
Okay.
And so these the trio of bats, you know, at first before Fat Cat was able to like steal the crate of fruit from them, they're like fighting over a pineapple or whatever that Chip and Dale also happened to be hiding inside of, which I don't know how they hollowed out the pineapple and got in. Doesn't fucking matter. They're hiding inside of a pineapple.
We're not asking further questions.
I'm not a botanist. I don't know. Like,
I'm not a horticulturist
or whatever the fuck you call it. I don't fucking know. But
Great.
Anyway, so Fat Cat, you know, as they're fighting over this pineapple, Fat Cat tells them to calm down, saying, you guys, time to go get to work on this little job.
Okay.
And then he has a quick mood shift and screams like, right now.
Yes. Okay.
Temperamental cats. Good
Need
job.
to unionize again.
Yeah, exactly.
The henchmen's union.
Henchmen and bats come together in the racial divide.
Yeah, a powerful interracial union.
Yeah, exactly. This is a multi-racial working class struggle.
International
guys.
union.
Come together. And this video is now about to get canceled or banned. It's like, no, we can have no talk of multi-racial working class. No, hate each other.
Yeah,
hate each other.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Again, the FBI and CIA always watching our videos.
They're our biggest fans, I'm pretty sure.
Thanks for CIA, FBI. Don't forget to like, review, subscribe, comment,
tell your manager. Thanks. Anyway, and so after being berated and yelled at by this fucking mood swingy as hell cat, the bats, they quickly scoop the fruit up into a sack. They're like apologizing tepidly to Fat Cat. And of course, like not looking as they're scooping things in the bag, they accidentally scoop Chip and Dale.
Oh, wow. Chip and Dale are.
They're going through it. Again,
damn.
Do not go for a morning run.
This is what happens.
The moral of the story.
No more running.
And so
this is our political platform. No more running.
Where's my soapbox? So you're like with a megaphone in the middle of the Capitol.
More runs.
Meanwhile, people are clearly protesting other things. For those watching, it is June 25th, 2022, as of our recording. So we are in the DC area.
I was going to say, this is why the protest is why my voice sounds like this, as of what happened yesterday.
Yes.
And Alexis said, my running platform.
Yeah, people are going to love me at parties. So anyway, the bats, they take this sack of fruit and they fly out of Fat Cat's warehouse office thing. They're flying over the city with this giant sack, and they're kind of like chatting with each other, just noting how Fat Cat is like freaking out of his mind, how he just has these crazy mood swings. And they're like, yeah, man, but at least he gives us the fruit in a much more offensive accent.
Yes.
And so whoopsies, just accidentally like crazy scrolled.
Just X out of it.
Well, and this episode's over.
And they took the fruit, they dropped Chip and Dale off and went on their merry way.
I don't know what happened with those safe robberies. Well, anyway.
Doesn't matter. The end.
My laptop I can't open it back up. So anyway, Chip and Dale, they're overhearing this conversation with the bats, and they're like, well, we got to get the fuck out of here. I don't know where they're carrying this sack of fruit, but we need to go. And so like in total, like Captain America and like Iron Man Avengers theatrics, they jump out of this sack that's in midair being carried by these bats. Yeah, just like free falling.
Oh my God.
But like they like catch an antenna on a building or whatever,
like
like flip over it like gymnasts, and then do like stealthy superhero landing.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Rescue Rangers, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Their stunt team is awesome.
Because they worked out for 3 days. All of a sudden,
they did that one montage. Like they stretched
out
for their, like 1 block run this morning before they like left the rest of the gang.
Amazing.
And so they're like not sure what these fruit bats are doing for Fat Cat, but they're like, whatever it is, we need to go back to get the rescue rangers, get the ranger plane, and try to follow them. And we need to go quick before they get too far away.
Mm-hmm.
So they run back to their hideout and they tell the crew that they've got a new case, aka we got more leads on the case that we originally wanted to work on
Weeks
until Monty
ago.
got us fucking in trouble.
Yep.
Yes. And so they're like, we got to get the ranger plane fired up to track down these bats. And it's actually super cute and intense. Like they're running into the ranger station and like Chip's like flailing on his jacket, putting on his fedora hat. Like, we got to get the plane going. Like it's action time, y'all.
It's a very montagey episode.
It is.
Which I love
it. I love it. And now we're going to tie in something from last week's a couple weeks episode, aka today's episode, I think, with the Colts and Gadget, just coming up with whatever the fuck she wants.
Yep, as inventions.
So they run up to the ranger plane and they're like, what the fuck? Apparently Gadget on Monty's orders has been like fixing the ranger plane so that rather than just flying the plane and using like the power of, I guess, what is it, like propulsion or whatever propellers do. I actually don't know how planes really work. I'm somewhat embarrassed to say that. I'm fascinated by it, but like whatever, jet propulsion, I don't know. Things fly. And instead of that, they actually turn it into like an exercise machine so that they have they pedal wagon the plane, the ranger plane. Chip and Dale are fucking pissed. One, because it means more exercise, and two, because it means a very slow moving
so much slower.
Yes.
Wow, I too would be pissed.
And it's hilarious because Gadget's response, like while Chip and Dale are flabbergasted, like jaw dropped, pissed off, Gadget, she's like, I'll be down for whatevs, and it's just game to fuck around and invent whatever and find out what happens. As we know now, she's like, golly, I was just trying to be helpful.
Yeah, Gadget's like, I'm being supportive of our friend who's going through an addiction problem.
I thought you guys would be on board.
Yeah, right? I'm just doing my job, y'all.
Yeah, I'm just too smart. I can just invent anything. And so I had to do it. And so in our next scene, we see them pedaling the ranger plane through the fucking city to track down these fruit bats. But it is obviously taking forever. They're moving very slowly. Yes. And no surprise, the very person who recommended this upgrade is the person who was having the worst time. Monty, he's like huffing and puffing, totally winded and exhausted, like can't even talk. Chip and Dale are like, oh, we got to go this way. Like, come on, we got to pedal faster.
And he's like,
I see a trail of fruit. And Monty's like, okay, mate. Okay. like he is not having a good time at all. And so Chip is like, okay, we're never going to fucking catch up to them. Like, we need to just turn around and go home. This isn't going to work. Yikes. But right when he says that, a bunch of like food waste just like falls on them or like right in front of them. And so they look up and they see that the bats are actually like right over them. And they're like hanging on this like awning or, like the little statues that hang off the side. They're like hanging on one of those, just like munching on this bag of fruit. Mm-hmm. And so moments later, the bats, as they're like, talking, well, I guess that the rescue rangers were like, all right, let's go like land the plane somewhere, like flying closer. I'm not really sure how the physics worked. If they were,
we already said we don't know how planes
whatever.
work.
Exactly.
Don't ask like
I
we
don't
know
how flight distance works either, and how fruit waste travels in the wind. Doesn't matter. Half research, quarter research episode.
Didn't research this part of it.
Research episode or whatever. And so, a couple seconds later, we see the bats. They're eating this food, still talking about Fat Cat, how they're happy that he gives them fruit, but that he is still a total asshole, mood swingy son of a something. And they notice that one of these armored helicopters is again making its way through the city. And so they end their snack break pretty abruptly, and they start to take flight after the helicopter, leaving the sack of fruit just like hanging on that little statue that they were chilling on. And so the rescue rangers see this, and Chip is immediately able to deduce that the bats must be the ones going after these armored copters. And so they're like, all right, we got to pedal even faster now, because now we know what's going on. These bats, they're getting the jewels from these armored helicopters. They're giving them to Fat Cat because they now know that they're working for him.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I mentioned it before. Monty, he's not having a good time. Well, right now he's having an even worse.
Oh my God, because they're not like in pursuit.
Yeah, in pursuit. So like blood pressure is up because they're like, all right, we got our now, and we're pedaling faster.
Oh no.
And I guarantee you that he is really regretting his decision to have Gadget fix the Ranger plane. But as they're flying towards this helicopter, a like downdraft from the propellers like is pushing them. See, we do know how some things work. Yeah.
We do.
It's like pushing the Ranger plane away, and it makes it really hard for them to like actually get to the helicopter before the bats do. And so I don't remember how, but the bats somehow like cut a hole. Do they cut a hole into it, or do they just open it? They cut a hole into the safe.
To the armored helicopter.
Maybe not.
You know what? We don't know how physics works.
I don't know.
We just said that. We don't know. Okay?
It's like we know how like every other thing works. It's like 1 out of 2 things we understand. It's like, oh yeah, the propellers.
Oh yeah, naturally. Yeah. Planes.
I don't know how a plane works.
I don't know how to dig a hole into it. I don't know.
Literally 50% research. And so Gadget is like, well, I've got an idea. I know how to actually like latch the Ranger plane onto the helicopter. So she like shoots a like plunger type thing.
Classic. They love the plunger move.
Their woodland creature inventions. And like, cranks them up there. And I'm actually realizing like the dynamic of Gadget, she's not only like their engineer and inventor extraordinaire, she's probably like the best at like stealth and like reconnaissance. 100%. She like puts suction cups like on her legs and is like walking upside down on this helicopter.
Badass.
Like,
Gadget.
like scaling the rope.
Holy shit.
And then like throws another plunger down and like,
oh my God, she's definitely the smartest.
Badass. Oh, for sure.
And best of the
gang.
And
Zipper could probably handle everything on their own.
They do.
Yeah.
They do handle everything on their
own. Which, have you seen the movie yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, I won't mention it, but
I know.
One day,
bonus content.
Bonus content is very funny. Anyway, so Gadget, she's like up there doing initial recon to figure out where the bats like went and how they got in there. Okay, yeah. So I did write it here. They're just straight up drilling a hole in the side of the helicopter. Where did they get the drill from? That's the bigger question.
Also, like, isn't it supposed to be like everything proof?
Yeah,
whatever.
Armor. But a drill works. Probably a drill that they got at like Home Depot.
Yeah,
like,
good to know.
Even like an industrial drill, just like your regular,
just like a little handheld power tool. Yeah, okay, this is good to know.
Cool. So they drill a hole in the side and just make their way on in. God, that's funny. I even wrote a note here. I don't remember how they drilled it. They like bring a power driller. Sometimes my notes are very funny that I write to myself. And so meanwhile, Monty, still out of breath and tired from all of the pedaling, he is struggling to scale across this rope that Gadget has, thrown across. So Chip and Dale, they're just like cruising. Zipper obviously flies. Monty is like hanging by like 2 fingers, like heavily breathing.
Wow, in the air.
Okay. Yeah. And he actually falls.
Oh no. Okay, I did not think you were going to say that.
No, he falls. He falls, plunging down towards the ground below. Thank God. Zipper, though, with his super strength.
Literally so fucking strong.
I didn't mention it. Like, I didn't go into detail about their little, like, workout montages.
Was he the strongest?
Yeah, he was, like, pumping weights. like, doing all this stuff.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so, like, you see him, like, channel that and be like, yeah, like, let's go.
Yeah.
Flies down
this is, like, actually the Gadget and Zipper gang.
I'm telling you, like, they could do it all themselves. Everyone else is comic relief and or just a wild card who gets them.
Gadget and Zipper actually, like, between the Rescue Ranger cases, go solve cases on their own. like on the regular.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Most likely. Which, oh man, maybe we'll watch the movie too. We might have to watch.
We may watch it tonight.
It's only like an hour and a half long.
All right.
Because I feel like you really have to watch it after saying these things now, because it's very funny how they evolve their relationship, like the dynamic between Zipper and Gadget.
Okay.
Interesting. Anyway, so Zipper, after all this pump and iron and everything, he is able to grab Monty, and he can't like lift him back up, but he slows the fall.
Yeah.
So he's like pulling him. He can't get to the helicopter, but then Chip and Dale like unleash the rope or whatever.
Oh, drop
again,
down.
Superhero fashion, just like Geronimo.
Damn.
Maybe I shouldn't say Geronimo. That's kind of offensive. They just like
they get him
down there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they grab him and fling him, I think, like right into one of the sacks that the bats are carrying.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how they got it.
And they probably picked it up from the statue as evidence.
It took them fucking forever to get over there on the plane. So let's be real. They had plenty of time to not just snap on the fruit, but to like get the bag back after getting the shit. So, excuse me, they land in this sack, and then the bats start flying it away from the helicopter, actually.
Uh-huh.
And then meanwhile, Zipper, though, he decides to stay behind to tell Gadget what's going on. Because Gadget's like, she has no clue.
She's like, where the fuck is everyone?
She's like up there getting ready to like pull them back up on the rope. Like, all right, guys, go ahead. And looks down and everyone's gone. She's straight up like, wait, what are they doing?
Y'all.
And then Zipper's like, nah, it's cool. It's cool. Here's what's going down.
They're on their way.
Monty couldn't hang. So they're
and they were like, God, they give each other like a knowing look of just like,
again,
we would have solved this case weeks ago if not for them.
Yes. So they decide, Monty, Dale, and Chip decide to like investigate where the bats are going. Zipper tells Gadget. She's like, all right, well, let's get back in the Ranger plane. I guess I just did all of this intense recon
for fucking nothing.
So the bats, they return to Fat Cat with this bag of stolen jewels and such, which again, they ate all the fruit. Yeah. They swapped the fruit and food waste into the safe, and they took the jewels out. And Fat Cat, he's like very like hedonistically going through all of these items, like bathing himself in like hedonism by
just like
bathing himself in the jewels. Like, oh, it's so wonderful.
Oh my God.
Oh, look at how amazing my riches that I literally paid nothing.
And also
like the slave labor got me.
The three goons, and then like the three bats are just sitting there like should we leave? Like, should you get a private room?
Can you like, should we close the door?
Like, are we dismissed?
Like, this is fucking gross.
This is uncomfortable.
Yeah. But then, and I should say, by the way, like the bats just dropped off the bag, and then I guess they went somewhere for like a quick nap or something. Because they actually weren't in the room as he's like bathing himself. But the three henchmen were.
And just like
still awkward. It's funny because they are, if I remember, they are kind of just like awkwardly standing there. Partially because he's Fat Cat is so temperamental that they're like, anyone is just afraid to say anything around him because they don't want him to snap. Yep. So it's like half that, and also half like, do you need some privacy?
How do we leave the room right now?
And so, he's going through how amazing all these jewels are, but his joy quickly turns to sadness as he realizes that sooner or later the cops are going to wise up and find another way to ship the jewels, because this armored helicopter thing has failed multiple times now. Yeah. Clearly the taxpayer money is being wasted.
Yeah. They're going to make a new plan.
A little bit more clever. Okay. Yes. And so Fat Cat says that at that point, whenever the cops do come up with a new transit plan, this is offensive.
Okay. I'm ready.
Disclaimer. He says that he will return the fruit bats to Jamaica as soon as he doesn't need them anymore.
He literally says return.
He says return, at which point I will return them to Jamaica. And that he says some other things. That was the most appropriate line I felt like putting in here. So anyway,
does Fat Cat, is like all of his actual wealth from the like slave trade on the side here?
It's starting to sound like it.
Okay.
I mean, at least if not these like clearly
he's at least involved in it.
Ethnic minority. Well, I guess they're not an ethnic minority in Jamaica, but like actually maybe not even globally. Which is another conversation for another day.
But anyway, he's deeply exploiting
in this non-white community. Yes. He is using their labor clearly.
Yes. Clearly exploitively. And the fact that he is returning them as if they are an item that he purchased.
Exactly.
This is slavery.
To just
got it.
Use at his disposal.
Yes. Okay.
When he wants. Yes.
Okay.
But anyway, so the explanation of his shitty backstabbing plan is interrupted when the fruit bats return to Fat Cat.
Awkward.
They've woken up from their nap, I guess. Yeah. And they're checking in to see if he needs anything else from them because they're very good-hearted. Like, honestly, they're really just in it for the fruit. Yeah. Like, they're just there because they're trying to make a living. They are evil, but they're also very sweet, much like the fruit that they enjoy.
Aww.
Yes. And so Fat Cat, he thanks them again for the wonderful haul, noting, all these things you've stolen are so great. I think I'm good here. But at that moment, as he's like picking things out, who does he see? The rescue rangers like peeking their heads. Oh shit! Oh shit! He didn't see us, right? Rescue rangers!
Oh god!
Oh, shit, I think he saw us.
Did he see us? Are you sure?
Yeah.
We should like great, subtle.
And so there's a little bit of a chase around his office, aka mostly, if I recall, the henchmen and the bats, while Fat Cat is pointing them around. Yeah. Actually saying like super disgusting shit. Like Fat Cat is threatening to like blend them into a puree or like into preserves. He's like, whip out the Cuisinart.
Was this sponsored by?
I was gonna say, which good press for Cuisinart.
Yeah, early SpawnCon.
It is so powerful that you can grind chipmunks and mice into preserves using it. If you have got a rodent problem, get a Cuisinart,
baby. God, should we send them this episode to get a sponsorship?
Maybe. Yeah.
A free ad for them.
Probably.
Great, cool.
I think maybe know someone who works for some adjacent company.
We'll figure it out.
Or like, hey, if you're out there, tweet at
give us a call.
Whatever. Anyway, so as the bats and the henchmen start to move in on the Rangers, the building actually like entirely starts to shake. Yes. Okay. A lot of twists and turns in this episode.
Okay.
And so it's rattling. Everything inside is like shaking in the office and like falling off the walls. And outside in the sky, like you look up and above the office / warehouse home of Fat Cat, whatever, we see one of the armored helicopters, aka the armored helicopter that they were just chasing. And as it turns out, that hook or whatever with like the plunger thing that Gadget had dropped down to like connect the Ranger plane or like to jimmy them between the Ranger plane to the helicopter. I guess she like never pulled it back up or reeled it back up. So it's just like dangling from this armored helicopter.
Okay, cool.
And it latches as the helicopter's flying over, the hook like latches onto the that golden cat statue on top of the warehouse. And actually starts to like pull up the fucking roof of the whole building.
Oh my god.
So these armored helicopters are legit.
They're fucking strong. It's like military grade.
So again, I don't know what kind of fucking drill
got through it. Also, at this point in the story, the rescue rangers haven't really done anything to solve this crime. Yeah. Like they're only getting out of it right now because of an accident.
Yeah, again, and here's the funny part. Gadget like deliberately left the hook down. She was like, that'll get him. Yep, Gadget and so Zipper again fucking saving the day.
Okay,
pretty much these two are the rescue rangers, essentially.
We're learning, yes.
Because so after we see like all the commotion in Fat Cat's office, then the camera goes to like the police officers in the helicopter, like, I don't know what the fuck we're stuck to, what's happening? But Gadget, she's like kind of smirking and pushes a button that reels the line up right as it gets hooked onto the statue. Amazing. And it rips the whole statue and the roof off of Fat Cat's HQ, which then forces all of them to run away. But also weirdly, I guess it like tilts the building or something. I don't know, because it forces like pulling it. Yeah, physics. The jewels all like fall out of the building onto the street below. Oh, I mean, if you're walking by at that moment, lucky you. That's fucking sweet. You know what? New York City, the place where dreams come true. Anything can happen. Jewels fall from the sky. If you just stand like this long enough, a diamond necklace will fall into your hand at some point, or something much grosser, or a bird will poop on you. I was gonna say, or like someone will like accidentally like throw shit out of their window, probably or, like, spit out of their window, or a bird will shit on you. Yep. That's more likely. But hey, depending on your outlook on life, maybe that's as good as a diamond. It's what you're into. Gross. Teach through. I'm not here to shame you. Yeah, exactly. I'm not here to shame you. I mean, kink shame. If that's what gets you off, whatever. Yeah, live your life. Like walking around New York with like shit in your hand. Yeah, just waiting for someone to throw. His hand again. Waiting for birds to poop on you. Live your best life. And so the cops, they are on to like all of this activity. They see the building shaking and this armored helicopter stuck on something in the middle of the sky. So they come in cars careening down the street, and they actually happen to notice like all of the stolen jewels just right like there. And they're literally just like, oh my God, the stolen jewels. Wait, also, are they like, we solved it? Yep. No, that's like my last line. Like literally, so all of the animals who were behind the crimes were able to get away before the authorities could figure out who was behind the mystery. Which they wouldn't have figured out that it was animals. Exactly. And so they're like, well, we don't know where they came from. But here, we did it. We did it. Wow, and like the press immediately moves in and is like, and it's like, they solved it. Now, I will say, as we watch the story unfold on the news, like the next day, the press is saying, like, we still don't know who was behind it or who actually found it. Like, we don't know who the heroes or the villains are. But thank God the police are on the we're on the like. Really, like Gadget saved the whole day. Yeah, essentially. So yeah, Gadget and Zipper were the heroes. Got it. And so, just very quickly, I will say, as the last line here, like as they're watching the news doing this, Monty has decided, all right, maybe like everything in moderation. I don't need to be like a workout freak. I don't need to be like eating parsley sprigs. I don't need to deprive you all of your sweet treats. Like, I got to be responsible, but we can like chill. And so they all just like take a hot tub bath together. What? And say everything in moderation. Like, what? They're in a hot tub. Is it in their treehouse? In their treehouse. What? That's what I wrote. So it must have at least somewhat happened. I think the thing they were saying, like someone was joking around saying like, oh, so are we gonna like go work out again, or like, oh, it's like, no, we're gonna go chill. Yeah, and they're like, no, let's just go get in the hot tub, everything in moderation. And then they do their awkward laugh as the camera like fades. Like freeze frame. Ignore that ending. Okay, I had a lot of questions about like how this crime was solved, the cops, all that kind of stuff. I don't care about that anymore. I only care about this hot tub situation within this office place. Well, I mean, it was in the Ranger station. But it's both an office and a residential. Yeah. I don't want to know. I wish I remember what they were using as a hot tub, because you know how they use like nature things. It's like a coffee cup or something, right. Probably. Yeah. Wow. I don't recall, but yeah, they were enjoying a nice soak sesh. Okay. Yeah. Weird. That's maybe the weirdest ending of any of our episodes left. Yeah, with no one in like the real world, no humans knowing who the criminal actor, like Fat Cat gets away clean, right? And really, henchmen get away clean. Bats only get away Gadget clean. And Zipper deserve this hot tub bath. They are the ones who actually worked the hardest. Yeah, I mean, I guess See, but it was all accidental. Like Chip and Dale knew that Fat Cat was the one behind it, but only because they decided to duck out of the run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ended up in a bag of, or in a crate of fruit that the henchman then. So, like everything was so coincidental in this episode. It's like
no one really solved a crime here.
Yeah. You know.
Okay. Wow. Well, great job.
And so
that was wild.
Thank you. And I know I mentioned it yesterday, and I really just thought of it last night as I was rewatching this episode. I have a book on my bookshelf actually that I think really encapsulates some of the themes in this episode so well.
Trying to look at your bookcase over there.
It's the book called Tomato Land.
Okay.
Yeah, I read it in college. For what class was that? It was political geography.
Okay.
Which was a course that essentially talked about the way, not just the way that the environment and like geography at a larger scale involves politics, but also kind of like the inverse, the way politics are kind of local based on like your geographic region.
Yeah.
So it looked at like both ends of that, like how in history geography has affected politics and how politics have affected geography.
And what is
really
this called?
Tomato Land.
Oh, okay.
It's a book by a guy named Barry Estabrook.
Okay.
He's a James Beard Award-winning writer. Chef. So not chef, actually. Yeah. It was an article. Cool. So I guess maybe he wrote for a food magazine, or I think he typically writes food-related articles. And he decided to do this investigative report to figure out kind of like what is the life of a tomato in America.
Yeah. And like kind of like the food politics.
Exactly. The food politics. Cool. And so I believe he went to Georgia. I'm pretty sure. I haven't read the book since like 2011. But yeah, he went somewhere in the South. I want to say it was Georgia. And he like surveilled a tomato farm down there. And it really was interesting the way that it looked at agribusiness, but also, more unfortunately, modern day slave labor.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Georgia?
Yes. And that's why I'm thinking it was Georgia, because some of you, if you listen to the news often, I believe it was just earlier this year, there was a massive, essentially slave ring uncovered on a farm in Georgia, most likely a tomato farm, or at least a farm that had tomatoes.
Yeah, an agriculture.
Yes, some sort of farm where essentially a lot of people from Central America, maybe even South America too, and Mexico, they migrate to the United States. They may not be here legally, so they do under the table work. They end up very oftentimes working on farms, sometimes in the South. And essentially, they're just totally taken advantage of and abused. They're paid pennies a day, doing backbreaking work, not really given the proper equipment to do their jobs.
There's nowhere to go and report this.
Exactly.
And get protection.
And in fact, there have been legal cases saying that I think it's either social workers or like union leaders for like different farmers unions. They have a constitutional right to go and talk to these people when they're on the job, because a lot of these big business farms will like stop them from getting on the property. Like, no, you can't come in here. They're like, dude, we represent them. Like, we're either like their lawyer or their union representative or like their caseworker.
Right. Whether
you can't stop us from seeing the conditions that they're in. So that some of those cases might have been challenged. So it may be like a state by state thing. But generally speaking, like these big business farmers don't want people to see what's happening on these farms because the abuse is that bad.
Yeah.
And so as I was rewatching this episode last night, I was like, good God, this reminds me of the fucking slave labor ring down on farms in the probably not just the South either.
Yeah, everywhere.
It's just that's the one that got most recently exposed.
I was going to say just America.
But literally paying these people nothing. Literally paying these people absolutely, or in this case, these bats, nothing, coincidentally paying them fruit. Which is what the slaves in Georgia are fucking farming. And then treating them like shit, like totally disposable.
Returning them.
Return them.
Their property.
I'm not going to say some of the other Fat Cat quotes.
I know. I'm going to go watch this episode.
I mean, everyone go watch. Like, it's, well, I don't know. I don't think it's the greatest episode for other reasons, as we discussed. Like, the crime really wasn't
what happened.
Yeah,
here.
like what happened. It was weird. There was a lot going on.
Yeah,
but I was too far into writing it to be like, well, I'm not going to not
turn it around now. Yeah.
So I figured it was still worth talking about. But
definitely
go still watch it. It is a bit offensive. I feel like I've given a fair warning.
And maybe read Tomato Land, because that, I mean, I'm like,
if you want to borrow, it's really good. That is probably, like, I don't really recommend books often, not because I don't think it's a good thing to do, but it's honestly because I don't read like that many full-on books. I mostly just read comics and like more like research-based stuff, like articles and like news, stuff like digital that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is like one of the only books that I've actually like recommended to several people. Cool. Because I think the way that it investigates this agribusiness at large, and just how, you know, the detriment on the environment, the detriment on our individual health, and the detriment on the working class, and like on poor people in terms of like modern day slavery. It's like, oh my God, there are so many things coming to a head at this that I think we're also touched on a bit in this episode of Rescue Rangers. So
part of me is like, was this episode actually canceled because like Big Ag saw it and they were like, pull it down,
or just like big capitalism in general?
Right?
Like no, like
not because it was offensive.
We don't essentially pay our workers in like fruit that we stole and then have them do the backbreaking work to make us massively
and then we just
richer.
Get hella fucking richer.
We don't do that at all with our golden statues of ourselves.
Oh my God! Whoa! Yeah, there was a big lobbyist on this episode to get this shit pulled down.
Got that shit
again.
Take it off of Disney.
Not because it was offensive, but because it was exposing.
It's too true.
Whoa, fuck Disney.
They took it too far by making the Jamaican accents very offensive. But the message behind the episode, I think, is
yeah. Disney was radical deep down.
They were those 80s. Actually, hold on. I wrote the who wrote this one?
I think most of it was written by Tad Stone.
He's one of them. Deb Ross and Tad Stone.
Yeah.
Those two. I would love to talk. I don't know if they're still alive, but if they are, I bet they're like super radical lefties now.
I know. And then I think Tad Stone wrote a bunch of like Darkwing Duck episodes and stuff too. He's around on the Disney scene for sure. So
awesome. That explains why there's some consistent like humor and whatnot.
Yes, exactly.
These shows.
Wow, great job.
Thank you.
Good work.
So that, friends, that is the Battle of the Bulge. And again, I don't know why, other than the fact that the bats have wings and can fly.
Why the fuck it was called that?
Yeah.
I don't know either. You know what?
Leave a comment.
If you're a historian and you know
war history,
how this connects, let us know.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Because other than the fact that it involves helicopters and bats, I have no idea why they named this battle.
Email us, leave a comment.
I guess fruit has bulges sometimes.
I don't know. It's a stretch.
It's
a stretch.
I'm really reaching for Tad.
You're trying to help.
Trying to help Tad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So until we figure out though why the fuck that's what they named that. Who should we have them tell? Who should our lovely audience tell about this podcast?
I think you should, it's summertime in our hemisphere at least. And there's a lot of farmers markets popping up right now.
Ooh, yeah.
In support of local, hopefully more ethical grown food and fruit, and supporting local and your neighbors, family and friends. I think you should tell your local farmer at a farmer's market, like wherever you get your fave produce, or if you haven't been to your local farmer's market yet, look one up, try and check it out.
They're everywhere.
Learn more, about where your food comes from, and tell your local farmer at the farmer's market, be like, hey, I appreciate what you do. I'm gonna buy some fruit here, buy some veggies, and by the way, while you're working, just pop in some Saturday morning mysteries. Just,
while you're working those fields.
Yeah, like everyone's got the AirPods nowadays. Right. Like, you and your family.
On your tractor.
Yeah, exactly.
Just turn the volume all the way up.
We'll get nicer headphones or like giant speakers. Yeah, just listen to some Satmore and Mist while you do the work. Start from the beginning, because those are long ass days if you're a farmer.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time. So you got a couple episodes to catch up on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, who else?
Cool. And so I would say, maybe it's a stereotype, but don't farmers usually have like a shit ton of kids?
Yeah, maybe.
If they have kids.
Yeah.
Tell the farmer's kid as well.
Yes, they're the ones probably working the farmers.
I was like, that's why they have a bunch of kids. So like, or maybe I'm like living in the past, like in children of the corn. That's why they had like there were so many kids there to work the field. Yeah. And then those kids fucking took over. Anyway, that's a different story. So
tell them anyway.
So if the farmer has like his kids working his or her kids working the
kind of produce stand.
If it's like a family affair, then make sure you let the kids know.
Especially when it's like, this happens at, the little farmers market stands all the time, that the adult is there, like, helping you weigh stuff and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And you see the like 11-year-old like on their phone in the background, just like,
why am I here so fucking early?
Yeah, like I wish I was fucking with my friends. God damn it, I have to be here. Be like, hey, see you're on your phone right there. Yeah. You should check out.
Set more miss,
baby. Yeah. And it'll probably be an early Saturday morning with farmers markets on our Saturday morning.
Exactly. So it'll be a fresh episode that just dropped right when you let them know.
Exactly. I love it.
Boom.
Great. Cool. Well, until then, bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on. So just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.